Hello. So, Meme Team versus Provi-Shotz. Provi-Shotz is currently the leader, and Meme Team are currently at the bottom of the table. Meme Team have not won a single match, but Provi-Shotz have won both of their matches so far.
Yeah, Dream Team coming out maybe not as strong as I'd hoped. Testicle, they're captained by Soldaris, who I believe will be doing the picks and bans here. And they've been pretty solid in previous tournaments. Hoping they can win a match today to pick things back up again against Provi-Shotz. EOS Cannon is their team captain, who will be doing the picks and bans today. And Meme Team have opened with an Oracle ban. I believe, yeah. So Red Team banned Oracle last time, and a couple of the Major League teams banned Oracle last week as well. So it's becoming a popular ban for It's basically becoming the ship that you don't want the other guys to have. So Red Team are just getting that out of the way straight away. Provi-Shotz responding with a Blackbird, again becoming quite popular in the pick ban phase. Teams wanting to get rid of it straight away.
We haven't actually seen a Blackbird on the field yet.
No, which is curious why people keep banning it. I think maybe it's scarier than people. Maybe it's scarier than it actually is. It's got a decent amount of tank. It's got an armor buffer tank, which, when combined with something like the Zekro or the Augurer, it will have a decent amount of survivability. I guess people just, when they've got such good pilots on grid, they just don't want to have to rely on the random ECM generator. Hyperion is the second ban from Meme Team. That's a solid-ish ban, I guess. Taking away Hyperion option. Maybe they want to kite then. If they're taking away the Hyperion option, Hyperion's got that micro jive, which means you can instantly cross 100 kilometers. So if you've got a kiting setup, you don't want that to suddenly appear in your backline.
Arbitrator ban from Provi-Shotz. That's really weird. We haven't seen an arbitrator either yet.
Yes,
and this one kind of puzzles me a bit.
Yeah, it puzzles me too, to be honest. Arbitrator's got 2 tracking disruptors and 1 missile guidance disruptor. So they're obviously hoping to bring a setup with a gun-based battleship, is my guess. So possibly the Tempest, the Maelstrom, the Abaddon, or the APOC. Those are the things that Provi-Shotz are probably wanting to bring, and they want to make sure that the Arbitrator can't ruin their day by disrupting their big battleship guns.
First pick Vigil by Meme Team. I guess the Vigil's kind of an interesting frigate to pick if you don't know if you're going shield or armor. Because the Vigil is shield tanked, but it's not really like dedicated to shield.
Yes.
You can run it in an armor setup because it's kind of independent.
Yeah, it's the optimal range of the target painter. I can't remember the exact number for the Vigil, but it's pretty long distance, and with fall off as well, they can definitely sit at the back of the action, out of the projection of the enemy's damage, and just help the rest of their team apply damage with that target painter, which increases the signature range size of the enemy ships, making it easier for things like the Raven to hit small ships. So Provi-Shotz responding with the Rifter. I want to say we haven't seen the Rifter before. I think we might have seen it once in the minor league.
They picked it last time.
Yeah, so they're a big fan of the Rifter. It's got a decent amount of armor tank. I'm not sure why you'd choose it over a Punisher, but it seemed to work out for them last week. And they're also supporting with a Coercer. Again, Provi-Shotz going with the kind of off-meta picks here. Interesting. Coercer possibly pretty good at killing drones with those lasers, which is kind of what I figured the destroyer role would be doing.
Yeah, the tracking bonus and range bonus on the Coercer, it's like a miniature Oracle, really. Like, it does really good damage out to about 25 kilometers. It's very good at like screening tackle and killing drones. See the Scythe picked up for Meme Team again. A Scythe pick when the Osprey is still available on the field. And Provi-Shotz going for the staple X-Crit pick. They're banning out the Raven, which is kind of interesting. Looks like Meme Team are probably going for something similar to what the Flanex was running.
Yeah, we've had very, very similar picks and bans for the last 30 seconds or so as for the mass match. So me and team have gone Tower. That kiting light missile destroyer support is pretty agile. They've gone for Scythe against the Provi-Shotz. It got the Zekra again. So and also me and team have banned out the Apocalypse, just like the last team in their armor set did. Provi-Shotz picked up the Harbinger for the reasons we discussed last time. Excellent tracking, medium pulse. Mean team Hurricane, interesting pick there, Stonia.
Yeah, Hurricane's actually really. It has artillery. It's actually really good at like throwing out frigates, especially with the against Logi, because the Hurricane with this like huge alpha can force the Logi to like have to like make switches. And as Rain mentioned earlier, like armor comes at the end of the cycle. So if he just decides he wants to shoot the Rifter and put him into half armor instantly, Extra has to like play catch up trying to rep that.
Yeah, I think actually quite probably like that better than the, especially in the kiting setup, probably better than the Cyclone. It really means that the only ship you want forward in the face of the enemy is going to be the Tempest. They don't really have any tackle kind of ships really to screen for the side. So the side's really, really going to have to be on the ball to make sure that Rifter doesn't catch him. Because I don't think unless the Rifter makes a mistake, that the Tempest is going to be able to pin him down. And then so the Arbitrator's ban does make sense in the context of having an Abaddon. The Abaddon's going to be able to project damage a long distance across the arena, but doesn't track particularly well. So gonna be an interesting match, hopefully. Apoth, do you want to see what the other commentators think?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hand it firstly over to Lysis. We're seeing a repeat, very well, an analogous series to the previous game here. We've got that Mimitar Kite team against an armor-based team with the Harb there repeated. So, Lysis, what are your thoughts on this setup here? Swapping the Armageddon out for an Abaddon. What do you think of this draft compared to the last match?
Well, Madden's not a bad pick here because it will have that projection with the beam lasers, which is pretty great. I'm gonna be a little iffy if it's tracking. Yes, it does have a tracking computer, but the Baden isn't known for being able to hit the best. But if it can hit, it's gonna hit you hard. So I think in this particular setup with what they're going up against, I would have liked the Armageddon again. I would have picked the Armageddon if once I saw that Hurricane come out. I would have went Armageddon all the way. But I understand the Baden just because of the beam lasers.
Well, Chesser, what's your preference? Would you rather go for the Geddon with the ranged newts and the cruise missiles and maybe sentries, which was a pretty wild from last match, or just the Abaddon for the crazy tank and the beam projection?
The Abaddon doesn't have a web, which I think is extreme. It's an extreme short sight on that ship. Basically, they need to play around the Abaddon and hope that its beam lasers can slowly peck away, and I just don't like that too much. It doesn't really bring much to the team other than kind of like an anchoring brick. But like I said, without the web, it's not the best thing ever. It's going to force the Scythe off a little bit, but I think the Scythe is easily going to be able to tank with 2 infalls and some rep droughts all over it. I am really disappointed, though, in the picks for frigates. Rifter, really questionable on that. It's going to get completely, or it should be, again, I say should. Probably should basically lose a Rifter in that courser off the word go from the huge alpha that Kane and the LML's Talwar has from the visual TP. So I think those are going to be gone quickly, and after that, it's going to be an easy cleanup. But I said that last game too, and was just appalled. So hopefully this game, I won't be. I don't know.
Okay, how about you, Rain? How do you think that these team comps are going to work against each other? What do you think the impetus is of the armor team to attempt to do? What do you think the impetus of the shield team is to do?
I mean, I just really want the Mimitar team to win. I really am hoping we see some more great piloting by the Logi pilots. I'm hoping that they kind of I don't know if these teams deliberately pick these based on the last match or if this is kind of like a new meta we're seeing where all the teams kind of realize, I guess, maybe the shield setup is probably all Mimitar because obviously you have the Tempest, like everything's the same except the Hurricane versus the Cyclone. But I'm not too sure about Provi-Shotz. I know someone brought up the Punisher versus the Rifter, and Chester did point out correctly that the Punisher does not have a scram, but the Rifter does have a scram. So if it can get in on anything, it can scram, shut down an MWD, and just hold something there.
Awesome. So we're gonna briefly bring back Mr. Elise Randolph, our lovely esports coordinator, to talk a little bit about the trouble we had with the giveaway and actually finally announce the winner.
Oh yeah, totally, absolutely. So I don't know why Twitch has been being annoying to me. I drew it the first time, and it was CCP Guard, who obviously is ineligible, but he's literally one of the people that helped us like clear these skins from the art department. Like he just blood, sweat, and tears from the Viking to get us these skins. So he won one, and so we had to redraw it. Then ISC Boldath won, who obviously isn't eligible. And then our very own Biohazard won. So that's 3 for 3. And then finally we get a winner, Gavin2505. And it turns out to be one of the captains for the teams in the Major League, who obviously is eligible to win. So, but still, my goodness, what a struggle. Just trying to give away stuff. This is the worst / the best. I'm going to keep on doing this because we still have a headset to give away. So go ahead and type in type in Twitch chat your predictions for the next match, and I'll run a new giveaway thingy for an actual Plantronics headset brought to us by our great sponsors at Plantronics. It's real swag. I'm gonna have to steal your address, but I won't give it away to anyone. Don't worry. But yeah, geez. And I just want to say to the first match, that was amazing. I was at the edge of my seat just laughing. It was going back and forth, back and forth. Holy crap. That was the most clowny. That's what we come to expect from the EVNT Minor League Championship Series. It is some of the best, most fun things around.
Awesome. So coming up for you next is Provi-Shotz versus MeMe Team, like we said. Provi-Shotz, unsurprisingly, hailing from Providence, mostly from CVA. We have Eos Cannon as the captain and Dead Duck as the co-captain. The MeMe Team, on the other hand, captained by Solidarius and co-captained by Suicide. This is a group from Test Alliance Please Ignore, which have historically been a pretty strong, middling to good, strong team in the Alliance tournament. They didn't do that well, unfortunately, in Fight Club in the last Alliance tournament, but they certainly have a lot of pedigree from previous ATs and doing good work. And there's a few names you remember in there, like a Blue Ice, for example, is on their team. Brave Newbies, Main FC for quite a while in their early days of Nullsec. Really excited to see what both teams bring with the teams they have brought together. Let's run down now the predictions of the commentators, starting with you, Rain. Who do you think is going to win here? Are you just going to go with your Minmatar?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always with the Winmatar. And even if they lose, I hope the Scythe Pilot at least has a blast trying to keep people alive. I think the Scythe Pilot of the last match looked like he was having a lot of fun just running around and being chased.
How about you, Chess? Are you picking the Kite Boys again? Or are you going for the
Listen. I want the MeMe team to be strong, and I have faith after I saw our Lord and Savior Kaboom pilot the scythe so well that it can happen again.
That's a dance, isn't it? The MeMe? Anyway, moving on.
Indeed, the MeMe.
So let's go for Lysis. Are you in for some MeMe dancing, or are you down for Minmatar or Winmatar?
You mean the Nene? I'm definitely.
I don't know professional sportsmen. I'm sorry.
Just putting that out there, pimp. I'm just gonna say, as much as I want to pick the Amar team, I'm gonna have to go with the MeMe team for this one because I think that Vigil is gonna be so crucial for that Hurricane having a field day. So MeMe team is my pick.
Okay, Suternia, are you Memeing or are you Winmataring?
I'm gonna go with the MeMe team. I love me some rare Pepes, so I hope they win.
Spicy, sir. Very spicy. We do have a little bit of time before the match. We're having a little issue with the tool, but that's okay. We're going to get it fixed as soon as possible. Won't be very long before we get into this match. Sutonia, speaking briefly to the last match, what do you think are the core differences that need to be made for that Shield team to actually win?
Well, I think that I really like the meme team's version of the shield a bit better than the previous one. I like the Hurricane a lot more than the Cyclone. I do like the Cyclone because of the utility high that it brings, but I think the Hurricane is just way better when you've got the Tower and the Vigil. It just offers so much more to a kiting team.
Do you worry that without something like a recon for long range reps or more sturdy tackle, that the artilleries just aren't going to track, or do you think that the Vigil target paints is sufficient to help get it to put its damage down even on some of the smaller targets?
I think the Vigil is fine. There's no links in this format, so there's no like evasive maneuvering or rapid deployment on the field. So I think the Rift, I mean the Hurricane, if he pilots correctly, I think he should be able to track the Destroyer. I mean maybe the Rifter, if the Rifter pilots like in a like deflection way, maybe he can't track the Rifter, but that means the Rifter's useless. So I think the Vigil is enough for the Hurricane with RTs to track.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think. Sorry, I'm cutting in there.
Sorry,
I was
please
just
go
gonna,
ahead, Dave.
I was just going to agree with Satonia. Just looking at some of the stats from last week. So this is the Major League teams, which is probably what Test/meme team have been looking at. The Hurricane and the Vigil both. Vigil was picked 3 times last week and won every match, I believe. So it's hopefully like really kind of good at amplifying a good team's application. And the Hurricane was picked 3 times and only died once. So both those ships kind of like not like ships you would obviously say that were strong, but like so far they've been pretty good in the tournament. So yeah, I think I'd agree with Satonia that I think some meme teams should be able to do this if they can pilot well.
well, as we've got an all Minmatar team, we saw something very similar last match. Chester, why don't you fill us in on what Minmatar ships racially bring to the game? We've got a lot of alphas coming in. They've got to choose their race. If they choose Minmatar, what have they got in store for them with the alpha set, which is just your T1 frigate, destroyer, and cruiser? But as we have the whole line here, what does Minmatar embody in terms of approach to building spaceships and how they fly?
Right. So I'm just going to lay it out as truthfully as I can. And Minmatar ships in general are garbage. Alpha clones, if you picked Minmatar, I feel bad for you because not only do you have an entirely useless wing of frigates, other than the Vigil, which is actually very good, but you need to be in a small gang or a gang of competent pilots that actually knows how to make use of the Vigil. But the Vigil is the best ship ever, but you can't solo PvP in that, and you really don't do damage in that. It's just E-War. You have to be very careful when flying it. The second thing is the cruiser line that Alphas are going to be able to use, again, is straight garbage, specifically because the Rupture is outplayed by the Vexor and the Thorax for the close range. Stabber is completely useless.
Wait a minute, I do not... Chester, no, all these new bros are not gonna be solo PvPing. You can take
a Thrasher isn't that good though. Like that's the thing when you look at.
I've watched a man solo Tengus with a Thrasher that costs less than 1 million IF.
Yes, and I've soloed ships and noob ships, and it doesn't.
We've caught carriers and Talar and burst fleets, all T1 fit. You can definitely, as a Minmatar, a Minmatar Alpha succeed in the Minmatar race. Bjornby was flying a fleet yesterday of all towers, and he was donking on birds.
Okay.
So you can't hate on the solo PvP.
Wait.
You can't hate on the solo PvP.
I'm not done yet.
These ships and fleets are amazing.
Let me just continue my white male privilege and oppress the brooders. The towers. The towers are pretty good, but in large, massive fleets, it's more the LML platform that the tower brings that's nice. The Breacher is okay for a brawling frig. It's not bad if you go with like a rocket, medium ancillary booster, but they don't have a good cruiser. They really don't. The Bellicose is really under par. The Stabber is not good.
No, I soloed a Stabber, and it was pretty tough. And I was in a Vexor, and Vexors are OP, and that was all. Stabber is really good.
Oh my god, I have a video on the Stabber actually, and I try and show what it can do, but it's and I'm gonna say it's a lower tier compared to the best T1 cruiser which you can fit. Or I would say it's a question between the Galente line or the Caldari with the RLML Caracal, that kind of situation, right? Or the RLML Osprey.
But can newbies use it?
The only good cruiser that the Minmatar have is the Scythe Fleet issue. That's it. And that's because it can use RLMLs, its kite, very good. Outside of that, for an alpha clone, I wouldn't suggest much of the other ships just because the Rupture uses a terrible weapon system with ACs, and with RDs it's again not awesome because you're T1. And the Bellicose again is terrible. It tries to do too many things. It can't really work. It's if you're going to want a target painting platform, use the Vigil. The Stabber, like I said earlier, Ray, it's fast, but it's not that great.
You have to realize that these are T1. Like, it's only T1. The Vexor
Yeah.
as a T1
Yes.
ship is pretty crappy compared to, like, say, a T2, which makes
What do you
it
mean?
probably one of the best.
The Vexor's actually really good.
I've been talking to Gorski, who's been trying to Pyfa or EFTA, and he's like, oh my gosh, this Vexor just, like, can't do enough DPS. It just gets dunked on every single time.
Well, I mean, okay, the best T1 cruiser that all the alphas can fly is hands down the Caracal, like the Caracal and Story. Story is done.
Truth.
Like nothing comes close to that. The I'd say in rankings of best cruiser line to play as an alpha clone, Caldari is first, Head and Shoulders. Second is probably the Galente, Head and Shoulders, and then you have the Amar, which unfortunately don't have Scorch, which basically neuters them. They're useless. Can't fly it. The Omen Navy is garbage without Scorch, and they just don't have. And the Og Navy too. It can't work. And then the last I say. Mimitar, because like I said, the only ship that I think is good there is the Scythe Fleet issue, and you have to skill into missiles for that, which means that you're stuck into a Breacher, which uses rockets in the T1 frig line, and the Breacher is okay, but I don't consider it very strong when you compare it to the Tormentor or the Punisher. I think the Amar have like the best frigate line for sure, but I guess that's it. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry if I was too savage, but I want to tell people the truth.
Sutonia, how do you rank the Kestrel when T1 fit? In less than 40 pages.
Yo, I think the Kestrel is pretty good, man. Like, if you check out like DPS at scram ranges for alpha clones, like the Kestrel is like top of its game, man. Like 100 DPS selectable damage type to 10 kilometers is pretty good.
Can it take on a Stabber?
No, but I mean the Stabber's awful, so I mean it doesn't need to.
So it
Wow.
loses to a ship that's awful. Doesn't that make it even more awful?
Listen, I'm gonna link in Twitch chat that I tried to show the people of Eve what a Stabber can do. This is a few patches ago, but still, it's essentially the same ship. An Alpha clone will not be able to fly this Stabber because it uses T2 shit. But you could get close, and that's just gonna make its anemic DPS even more anemic. But here, I'll link it in Twitch chat so people know that I'm not a complete brooder hater. And yeah, I agree with Stonia. It's garbage.
Make Mimitar great again.
I mean, yeah, I would love Mimitar to be great. They have like the best kiting platforms in the game. It's just they don't have anything else other than just raw speed. That's it. They're literally useless.
Duct tape and speed.
Duct tape and
Okay.
speed. Yeah.
So,
that's it.
quick update. The tech issues have been resolved. We had a little problem with our overlay, but that's sorted now. We've got the teams in local. They're warping to the arena. So, in case you've forgotten, we are about to watch the MeMe team versus Provi-Shotz. That's going to be commentated by Rain and Lysis. Actually, let's head it over to the splash screen before we get the match started, even though Equal's going to be really mad at me because he didn't tell me that I can do it yet. So good luck with that, buddy.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Rain Shaka. Just kidding, I'm not a host, I'm just a commentator. And I'm joined by Lysis, and we're sitting here waiting for the teams to land on grid. We have Provi-Shotz versus Meme team, or MeMe team, or MeMe team. However you want to pronounce it, it's all just a meme. The Execura, the Courser, and the Rifter.
And the wonderful meme team brought the Tempest, Hurricane, Scythe, Powar, and the ever-important Vigil.
The teams have warped in at 90-degree angles, so I know the Meme team actually warped all in at 30, except the Tempest was warped at 0, with the Scythe being at 50. But that doesn't matter too much because they're at a 90-degree angle, so even though both teams have their Logi at 50, they're actually closer to the fleet, the enemy fleet, than normal. We have 30 seconds until the match starts.
Yeah, I'm really curious too, with this angle, how the meme team is going to take advantage of the lineup. I see that they have the Tempest at 0, and he's pretty much there just to be aggressive and kind of create a huge DPS wall as the Provi team tries to go in.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see like how quickly these Logi ships kind of move away and kind of get out of harm's way, especially with the Abaddon, which can shoot pretty far. And then this Hurricane. So the match has started. DPS is immediately applied on the Provi-Shotz Courser.
Oh yeah, I'm really curious what the first pick in this course is. Just taking a ton of damage. Reps are probably going to land here soon. He should be okay if he starts getting his transversal up. He's not really moving as fast as I like. He's going just straight in at an angle, but he might get out of Logi rep range, so he should definitely be careful of that.
Yeah,
But the Hurricane is applying.
Yeah, this Tempest immediately is starting to shoot this Rifter, or at least nude him and kind of hold him down. I'm not quite sure why he picked a Rifter, but I mean, I guess that's okay.
Well, the Rifter is tackling him, so pretty much the only thing that the Tempest could shoot. And the Rifter, which is good, because now there's damage being split on the Rifter and the Corso, so there's going to be a problem for the Logi pilot. And
yeah,
Tower
is dying very quickly. Oh gosh, yep, he's gone. Barely catching reps. But no, this Tempest is like burning directly at this, trying to burn at Dead Duck and the Abaddon. Obviously not getting anywhere. Rifter does have a scram to show off any MWD and a web to kind of hold him down. It looks like he's just orbiting him.
Oh yeah, he's under the guns. And the tower goes down too, and this course is also low, and this Rifter, Zenith, is doing an amazing job keeping this Tempest back. This little one frigate is holding down a battleship, which is a big part of DPS, and he's just holding down because he's under his guns. He can't do anything. He's having, like, this Tempest has been shut down from the match due to this one frigate, and another Corsa goes down.
Yeah, so I know Chester brought up the kind of E-War frigates versus a tackle frigate, and this is kind of where tackle frigates really shine. I just saw the Vigil pop. I'm not quite sure what he was doing when he popped. It looked like he just disappeared off the screen.
Oh, that is not good for the meme team having that Vigil, because now the Hurricane's going to have even more of trouble applying, because the arties that Vigil help increase signature bloom for the smaller ships. Pretty much the Hurricane's targets are either going to be hopefully get some good transversal matching and hits a small target, or you just have to just focus on bigger targets. But they still have to compete with Logi reps.
Yeah, and if you look, the Scythe here is actually pretty good at positioning. The Harbinger's going in on the Hurricane, and the Scythe is keeping the Hurricane between him and the Harbinger. They're just kind of chasing each other around. It looks like the battleships are sitting on each other and just kind of punching each other in the face, it looks like.
Yeah, and the Logi, they're good. They're good position.
Yeah.
The Logi are all positioned pretty well. They're really good position. They're in no trouble at all. They're having a great time. This must be the easiest time to be a Logi pilot, because they're under no pressure. This Tempest is has a baton right on him, and this hero Rifter still just all over him like white on rice. He's not getting away.
And he's still taking damage. I'm not quite sure what's shooting him or why they're even wasting their time shooting him when they could be shooting this Abaddon. And the Hurricane's actually getting pretty low, even though the Scythe is sitting on him. And he has a ton of rep bots on him, T2 rep bots, which are pretty good. But he's half armor.
Yeah, this Hurricane has a bunch of drones on him, even though he's under reps, and he has Logi drones. The Baden's not going to have trouble applying damage. You know, the Harbinger is not going to have trouble applying damage, because it is a battle cruiser. It's big enough for them not to have too much of an issue tracking, and he is really low. He is counting his blessings now, because this site is delaying him dying, which could turn around, but he is in whole. I don't see him lasting much longer, but he is pulling back some shield.
He's catching it, yeah, he's catching it. I'm not sure if the Scythe is like cap stable or able to rep him with all of it, but he's not doing too well at all. He can't get above like a fourth of a shield.
Here's a great thing. That Baden is getting in low armor. So the Tempest has decided, you know what? I'm not worried about this Rifter. I'm right on this Abaddon. Let's do this. They're brawling now, and this is great. I believe the Abaddon and the Harbinger are still going after that Hurricane to drop that RD DPS, but this Tempest is having a field day, having no problem tracking this Abaddon.
Yeah, no, I'm like freaking out. This Hurricane's, oh my gosh, he's barely holding. Oh, and he's gone. He's down.
But here's the thing, because of that delay, it allowed him to put so much damage on Abaddon. Now the question is, does this Tempest have the damage to get through this Abaddon? does it then have the damage to get through this Harbinger? And that Scythe's gonna have to stay alive. That I wouldn't be surprised if that Rifter bounces off the Tempest to go and tackle a Scythe to let the Harbinger get on it. As you see, this Abaddon is really just sticking in there, and that Logi pilot of the Executor is doing an amazing job keeping him alive.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting there too. He's not sitting at 0, but he's not moving too quickly either. And this Tempest is now going into armor. The Scythe is still ripping him. It's kind of catching. It's kind of catching. So he's kind of keeping him alive. There's still rep bots on top of him. So hopefully he can punch through this Abaddon, or otherwise they're just going to be completely gone, and the Scythe's going to be left all by himself.
Yeah, I don't think they have the DPS, and there goes the smart bombs. It's also going to hurt his own drones on him, as you see the Logi drones are being pulled away because he's probably called that he's going to do the smart bomb to drop the DPS that's on him. But I just don't see that the Tempest is going to have the damage to kill this Abaddon.
So actually, this is some great play. If you watch, the Scythe pulled the drones away, the Tempest smart bombed, and then he put the drones back on him. The Tempest held the smart bombs until the Scythe pulled them away again. Like, that was some, I don't know if that was like elite gameplay or just some like fumbling, and it just so happened to look really cool. That was amazing, and now all drones are completely gone.
No, that was great communication about the pilots. He knows he needs those Logi drones. He knows that a lot of DPS that's on him is damaged drones, and also the Abaddon himself had Logi drones on him. Hey, let's clear him. Take your drones away. That's keeping me alive for a few seconds. I reloaded my XLASB. Let me smart bomb these things off. There is still another flight of drones. He might have to do that again. He is under immense pressure, and these Logi pilots and these battleship pilots are just doing an amazing job. This is such a great match, and you're seeing some pro piloting here. It's like really heads up, just being dynamic of how the match is switching. And the Abaddon isn't structured, and even the Tempest is just so low. This could really go any way. If they drop this Abaddon, it could go any way. This is a great match. I love this piloting. Great heads up play by both teams.
Yeah, for sure. And this Harbinger is actually sitting right on the Tempest at 0, and the Tempest does have a left, so he's able to turn immediately and start applying DPS to that Harbinger.
Abaddon down! Oh my god, the Tempest is still alive, but he's in hole. This is so close. Oh, the big shield going up. This is nuts. I'm just losing my mind here. How amazing this piloting is. They can win this. The MeMe team can pull this if this Tempest stays alive somehow. But he's running out. He might be in the reload.
Oh no, they're not catching. So now that the Abaddon DPS is gone, it's a lot easier to rep through that Harbinger's DPS. So even though he is in low structure, if you look, he's actually getting a little more reps, whether it's through his self-rep or the Scythe or even the bots. He's actually able to kind of hold on now. So
this Tempest is a beast.
He's going through the Harvey too.
Yes.
That half armor.
This is insane. If I was Provi-Shotz, I would have had that Rifter go right after that Scythe and let the Harbinger have a great time because the Scythe doesn't have any self-repper. It's just straight buffer. But this Tempest is almost back to full shields. Oh my god. This is amazing piloting. This is wonderful. I love it.
The Scythe and the Tempest pilot are doing really, really well. Their communication is on point, and MeMe team really, really needs this one. I don't think they've won one yet, so winning this will keep them in the game.
Oh yeah, they knew that we have to do this. We're out of this if we lose. I've been in that position where if I lost one more match, I was out of a tournament and ended up going to FanFest for it. Vakin in the Scythe and BAP 1811 in the Tempest have just shown some masterclass teamwork. It's just them two versus 4 ships, and they're like, no, it's not over. We got this, baby. A Tempest is a beast. The Scythe is kiting like a maniac. He's just doing amazing, and the Harbinger is now in structure. Wow. They just can't. They just can't do it. I think the MeMe team is going to take this after being down to only 2 members.
Is we have a minute left, so if they drop this, then they'll win on points because a battleship's with 5 points and the Scythe is with 3 points. Oh, they dropped it!
There it goes! Oh my god! There it goes. Now they only have Rifter. The MeMe team has this. It's
my god!
Logi.
What a comeback! What the hell?
Wow! A 2v4, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do it. You keep your cool. You use the mechanics of the game. That's smart bomb use. Was I think such a crucial point of the match. And also another problem was the Abaddon. He didn't have to get in that close. He has beams. He didn't have to, like, the fact that the Tempest was able to get onto the Abaddon is very confusing to me because the Abaddon has beams. But at the beginning, like, the
Yeah.
Tempest was pretty much zoned out of the match, and he found a way to slow his happy way to get right on that baton and start applying his amazing DPS to it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is piloting right here. This is teamwork right here that you're witnessing. Congrats to the MeMe team. Such a great match. Provi block, also great piloting. Just didn't go your way this time, but MeMe team, clapping for you guys. Clapping for you. Amazing. You made my night.
And with that, we'll send it back to Elise and Apothly in the studio.